It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
All right. Friday, TGIF, we made it to get you to the weekend edition of the Patrick Johnson Show here on 94.3 The Game, 94.3thegame.com, and the IBX Media app on this rainy Friday. Lots to get into, including a discussion with South Central AD and Coach Chris Cherry. Look forward to having him on as they are 3-0 to beginning the season. That'll be later in the show. Does the P-Man care? We will find out. Philip the Ref Pilkington scouring the world of sports and beyond for stories we did not get to this week, and we will update you on them and discuss further one way or the other. But first, we start with a tremendous event from last night. The Boy Scouts of Pitt County in eastern North Carolina had their annual fundraising event, and just at the banquet alone, they raised over $50,000, 80-some-odd thousand for this cycle. Because they had raised the mid-30s prior to that. So a really strong number for the Boy Scouts. And part of that is the Distinguished Citizen of the Year. So for another time, I was privileged to be the MC and Roastmaster General of said event. It was at the Murphy Center. And we thought, what better time today and to start the show off with the Distinguished Citizen of the Year for Greenville and Pitt County, a member of the Board of Trustees at ECU, and our roving NASCAR reporter when it comes to Daytona, the one and only Scott Shook, the winner of this year's award, joins us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. The crowd goes mild.
PJ, how are you?
I'm well. The crowd goes mild, much like they did for Trent McGee's routine last night.
Who did surprisingly well, considering.
Well, the bar was low.
Yeah.
Shooky. The bar was low.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this.
Normally,
the Big Hen actually was funny. Henry Hinton was actually funny last night.
I must have missed that part.
Yes. You probably wish you were like Phil Dixon, who I think had his hearing aids turned down when Henry was up there. I think that's what Phil had done. I think yeah.
Yeah, I was sitting too close. It wouldn't have mattered. You know how that voice carries when you want to.
Yes, right. Yes. So that was a good time. And then who else did we have? Who else was up there giving you the grief last night? Congressman Greg Murphy
Lassiter.
couldn't be bothered to show up in person, so he did a video.
Right.
And then Greg Lassiter, yes, from Champions, did a routine as well. So it was pretty good.
And they told me that a very great legislator, beloved person has represented us for many years, and a congressman made a video, and I was shocked when the screen came up. I thought it was going to be Don Davis, but it was Greg Murphy instead.
There we go. We needed this button last night, Shook. We needed. In fact, next year, if I'm ever brought back for this thing, I'm going to insist that we have this button to play for some of the jokes. There.
You need a drummer, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the budget on this thing's huge. We'll get a drummer next time around. I'm sorry I underdressed for the occasion too, Shook. I felt like I was a little underdressed, but it's the only thing that could really fit me. So I wore it.
You lost so much weight, that you're down to what you used to wear in the '80s, so it doesn't look as good as it used to in the '80s anymore. But I mean, hey, look, if I could still fit in my members only jacket, I'd do it. I promise you that.
Pitt County's Distinguished Citizen of the Year award winner, Scott Shook, a member of the Board of Trustees, joins us here. All right, well, enough of talking about Shook. There's a lot of good things to talk about this weekend and in general with ECU, so that's another reason we wanted to have Shooky on today. And Shook, we've got App State coming to town this weekend, so a huge football weekend in Greenville.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's going to be a great weekend. We're 2-0. We're undefeated in everything this fall, by the way. Soccer, volleyball, football. I mean, undefeated. And I think we have got saw some pictures last night. You overlook the field from the Murphy Center and just see how beautiful the field is at Dowdy Ficklin Stadium. And And man, we looked the part, and I think the Pirates looked the part. I believe that, defense being as stout as it is going to keep us in a lot of ball games this year, no matter what the offense is able to do. But we've seen glimpses of the offense and how potent they can be. And, I just think they got to gel all together, and then, we'll see the turnovers drop off. And this weekend could be very big, but lead up to it, it's going to be popular. A lot of events around the game tomorrow, a lot of special visitors coming to town, a lot happening, and it feels like good football Saturday in Greenville in fall, the way it's supposed to be. And, if you live around here like we do, you live for about 6 Saturdays a year, and thank God tomorrow is one of them.
Yeah. ECU and App tomorrow. We're have coverage beginning at 1 o'clock with our Anson Belt and Buckle Pirate Game Day Countdown for Orthopedics East, and we'll be under the ECU Sports Properties Playfly tent. They're just outside of Gate 5 of Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, which means it's a longer walk to get over to Shook's Tailgate this year. So I'm a little disappointed in that, but hey, got to do what we got to do, baby.
Well, I understand from the platform you're on, you ought to be able to see us from over there. Is that right?
Yes, right. Well, no, I can't because of the blinding spotlight that they shine on me in this stage. This stage has been compared to the ones that you see in the stadiums that the Stones use or Taylor Swift's. It's got the wings and all of that to it. So I mean, it's this stage they have us on. Oh, it's chef's kiss. It's same man and feet. Hey, can't you get something done with that since you're part of the university brass?
Probably not. I'm just on the board of trustees. We don't run anything, but no. Well, probably. I think that's about his. Who says I didn't have something to do with the situation you're in right now? There you go.
That's
assuming
a good
I
point.
can do something. There you go. You're welcome.
We're going to come back. We're going to come back to ECU App in just a second. News revealed in the last week that ECU's enrollment is up, to the chagrin of some haters out there, I would say. But that's good news because enrollment around the nation in colleges is down, but ECU's is up. And then I think part of that story contained that on-campus living was up as well.
That's right. And, it's a tough environment in higher education and will be for the next decade or so because of just the demographic cliff that we're dealing with. There's just not enough 18 to 25-year-olds. There's not as many of those who were around 10 to 15 years ago. And so there's a smaller pool of people that are going to go to college. So, you got to heighten your game if you want to, enroll new folks in. But, there's myriad of strategies to be able to do this, not only incoming freshmen, but also adult learners or adult folks that maybe have gone to, 3 semesters or so at ECU and need to finish and need a degree and are so close. There's strategies to get them back and get them on campus or virtually to get a degree. So myriad of strategies we're doing. And then the graduate school and everything else. And then the Brody School of Medicine, we're expanding our medical school enrollment from 80 to 120 in a couple of years. So there are a lot of strategies going on to drive enrollment at ECU, but it's nice to see the hard work that the folks in the administration have done starting to pay off because it is not an easy environment in higher education right now. But everybody comes to Greenville and it's, at some point in time you come to ECU, but you become a Pirate and you love the place and you stick around. So it's nice to see so many new Pirate fans and Pirate faces in the dorms. And obviously I think a bunch of them are going to be in the stadium tomorrow. They've got so many, I think they've got to add some students to the upper deck to get them all in. So exciting times indeed.
Oh, great. No, it is. Scott Shook, member of the ECU Board of Trustees, is with us here. He was the chairman at one time and the Distinguished Citizen of the Year in Pitt County for 2024 because of Shook's charitable endeavors and his involvement in the community. We had a great roast and banquet in Shook's honor last night to raise money for the Boy Scouts. All right, Shook, let me ask you anything else before we get back to the game, anything else on the university front that you think people need to know about?
Well, I just, the General Assembly has made tremendous investments in East Carolina and in Eastern North Carolina through investments in health. There's a new initiative called NC Cares that's rolling out that is, essentially East Carolina University and ECU Health are going to lead the charge in rural health and from a research and impactful state, not only in Eastern North Carolina, but in the nation. So those are investments of hundreds of millions of dollars that are coming to Eastern North Carolina. So we are poised, I believe, to change the course of direction of healthcare in rural America based on what we're doing and because of the investments that have been made. So a lot of those things people don't see right off the bat or understand how they're going to play out. And obviously there's a lot of work to be done. But the last couple of General Assembly sessions with Philip at the helm has been tremendous. And we've gotten more money from the General Assembly than we ever have. And we've done well. And so there's a window of opportunity there for us with leadership President Hines and others at the Board of Governors who have been great to ECU to continue on this momentum. And so the future's bright for East Carolina and Eastern North Carolina.
The great Scott Shook with us here. All right, let's get back to the game tomorrow, Shook. Do you like the idea of us playing Appalachian State on the reg?
Yes, I love it. And matter of fact, we had fun going up there last year, and it's an economic boon to the area. You know, we're going to put a lot of people in hotels, and we're going to drive a lot of revenue to a lot of local businesses here. When you put this many people in town, we got a lot of visitors here, and it's the same thing when we go up the mountain to play App State. And I love an in-state rival, but love all about it. I know that the administrations are trying to work on future dates. You know, just the way football is scheduled, it has to go out many years and it's difficult. I'd love to see Appalachian State in the American Football Conference one day and continue this rivalry on an annual day. But, you know, I don't have any say in that. But I think that would be a great thing to do. But I love these regional rivalries, love playing them. And I believe, you know, NC State and Carolina and us and Charlotte should all play each other on rotational basis, right? And I believe there's some people at those universities want to. It's just, you know, that stuff's getting harder to pull off nowadays than it used to be. But absolutely, I love playing them and look forward to the weekend.
Well, the Wolfpack may not be able to get their date with La Tech, or the Heels might not be able to play Minnesota if they had to play these other institutions. So because they're bringing a lot of people from Reston up this way this weekend to Raleigh, I'm sure.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, Shook. Last night we had a lot of jokes. Do you have a joke for App State in this game, or are we not doing the jokes today? What I put it on the tee for. I put it on the tee for you here.
Yeah, kind of blending academics and football and rivalry stuff. You know, we in higher education, you're trying to align your course and your programmatic coursework to align with the current needs of the economy, and so they teach different things up at Appalachian State than we do. But unfortunately, and I don't know that you know this, and I don't know that you broke the news, but they had to cancel some classes this year at App State, and I kind of feel bad for them. It turns out they actually had to cancel the sex ed and the driver's ed classes this fall.
Okay, sex ed and driver's ed.
Yes, it turns out that Yusuf the mule died.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
That's a gem. That's a gem right there from the one and only Scott Shook.
Look,
all right, Shooky, give me a prediction.
We're going to score something in the 40s, and they're going to score something in the teens. We're going to win. It's going to be a big weekend.
Wow. All right. There. How about that for a bold prediction from the Distinguished Citizen of the Year? And after that joke, certainly distinction comes to mind of when we talk about Scott Shook. All right. Shooky, I'll see you tomorrow. Look, I was hoping they'd take the mic away from Lassiter last night, but nobody did, so they can't take anything away from you, apparently.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Shook, thank you. Congratulations on your award. It was rich. It was a really awesome night last night. It was really nice to meet your dad. I was happy for you and your wife, St. Karen. What a great woman. But thank you very much for coming on the show today. It was a lot of fun, and we really appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, appreciate all the work. Thank you for the hard work you're doing supporting the program and everything else. Let's go get us a win this weekend. We'll be cooking a pig. We're doing all we can outside. We can control, do our job. You'll do yours, and the Pirates will do theirs. And go Pirates! We'll see you this weekend, buddy.
All right, great stuff there with Scott Shook. Awesome to have Shooky on with us. It's going to be a fun weekend, undoubtedly. Well, like many of you, I was certainly saddened, but in a way, I feel real privileged to learn about Woody Peel's passing. Woody was 86 and had been the sports editor at the Daily Reflector, a writer, a columnist. I had done some writing for the Reflector in the mid to late 90s, and Woody was there on staff. Mike Grizzard was there. My buddy Jason O'Boyd got me in the door there. And, Woody from the 1960s covered East Carolina, covered high schools. He was on staff for the Marshall plane crash tragedy. Woody went and graduated from Wake Forest. Smart dude. Worked in Goldsboro at the News Argus. I understand he worked for a little bit in Fayetteville, somebody was saying. But Woody worked for many, many, many years at the Reflector. And he retired in 2004, stayed on with the Reflector doing his golf columns. And Woody used to have, you'll get a kick out of this, Pilk. Pontiac, I think it might have been Pepsi, maybe. It's one of the, I'm almost certain it was Pepsi, partnered with Pontiac, and they did a Richard Petty edition Pontiac vehicle back in the 90s.
And I need to see that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the exact story, but Woody, the day after the contest, and this is one of those deals where you used to screw off the lid of the bottles of drink, and if you had something on it, you got a prize type of thing. This is what we did back in the 80s and 90s, Bill. And Woody won the car, but I think it was the day after the contest ended. So something worked out, and Woody paid, as I understand it, a small transactional fee, and he got the car. So Woody would drive around Greenville in the Richard Petty Pontiac.
Where's that car now? I want to see this car.
I don't know.
He actually drove in a race, or was this
no. It's like it was like painted with the Richard Petty, but it was a Richard Petty edition car. He was married to Linda for 63 years. She died last year. 2 sons and a daughter, 7 grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren. And I'd seen Woody as recently as a couple of years ago. He still had a seat in the press box. He and his wife would go. I actually spent a New Year's with Woody and his wife one time, and that was a lot of fun. So that's a fond memory for me as well. But just wanted to say something about Woody Peel. Great guy, kind of the old crusty sports writer, but when you got to know Woody, he was just an absolute great human being, and smart and just professional. And I'm very sad to have learned of Woody's passing, but 86 years old, a long life, and a guy that covered a lot of ECU and a lot of Eastern North Carolina and Pitt County and Greenville sports over the years, in golf as well. So Woody Peel, our condolences to his family, to his friends, and his co-workers. Certainly we'll miss Woody. All right, we'll break here on the Patrick Johnson Show. When we come back, does the P-Man care? It's the new segment, Sweeping the Nation. Pilk and I will have it for you when we come back.
Have you noticed he's in his own little happy hour? We're back to the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
This is the Happy Hour program.
Here's the P-Man.
All right, we debuted this last week. And it is Does the P-Man Care? Here's Philip the Ref Pilkington, your affable host of Does the P-Man Care. And in case you don't know what it is, it's stories we haven't had time to get to this week.
Stories we have not had time to get to this week. Does the P-Man care? Earlier this week, Deion Sanders denied telling the Colorado band to play his son, Shedeur Sanders' song Perfect Timing, after he threw a touchdown pass instead of playing the fight song.
Do I care?
Yeah, do you care, P-Man?
So he's denying it now.
Yes, he is.
I don't care he's denying it. I love the idea of Deion being in such a delusion that he decided we're going to play my son's crappy rap song rather than the fight song and the pageantry of college football when he does throw a touchdown. So I'm here for the Deion drama. That thing is going to go down in flames spectacularly. And there are people still mentioning him as possibly coaching the Cowboys after this year, Pilk. which would be even more spectacular of just something going down in flames.
If he coached the Cowboys,
So I'm here for all the Deion drama.
If he coached the Cowboys, the first game would be worse than the 94 NFC Championship game, the famous one where he's on the sidelines in the bandana for the 49ers, and the 49ers are up 21-0 like 7 minutes into the game. When Barry Switzer was the coach of the Cowboys, that's how bad the game would be if Deion coached. As good as the Cowboys are. And I'll admit they're a darn good team.
I see what you're saying. I'm here for this. The whole thing with the banning the columnist and just the whole thing I'm here for. And Deion did this, so why deny it? Right?
I agree, but hey, I'm worried about what's going on the field. I'm not in.
I don't care about the rap song.
I'm not.
I care about the drama. I care about the drama. I don't care if the band gets to play or not. Couldn't care less about that. All right, what do we got, Pilk?
All righty. We've got David Grohl, former lead singer for the Foo Fighters, has welcomed a child.
Fighters, not Food Fighters, not Food Fighters, Pilk.
Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters. You said Food Fighters.
Has welcomed a child into the world out of wedlock.
Oh,
he is married, but it was not his wife. It was a cheating deal. Does the P-Man care?
So now, well, here is a little Paul Harvey for you. Google it, kids, with the rest of the story. So Grohl is now claiming the viral post, claiming to be a picture of the child welcomed outside of his marriage, is fake. He did admit to cheating on his wife and fathering a baby girl outside of the marriage on Wednesday, as Pilk noted. And he promised to be a loving and supportive parent. But Grohl, I guess, is now saying that this has gone too far and some of it is fake. What do I care about? I don't care who you're sleeping with. It's your business, not mine.
Fair enough.
I mean, he's a rock star, right?
He is.
Probably the most contemporary rock star, not pop star, rock star in the world right now is David Grohl, is Dave Grohl. Wouldn't you? I mean, Foo Fighters are the biggest rock act right now.
I would say so. Definitely the biggest rock act of the entire 21st century. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's certainly right now. Yeah. So it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
There you go.
What part of that do we not understand?
Watch any movie about any rock band ever.
Right. And I mean, if probably what he's doing is pretty tame compared to what Motley Crue and others have done.
I would have loved to have seen the behind the scenes of when Motley Crue first toured with Ozzy Osbourne. Their first tour, they were the opening act for Ozzy. I couldn't imagine what went on then.
So there was this story in the 80s, early 90s, that I guess they had this big rock festival over in Europe, and they flew all of the hair bands over in one jet. And this is crazy. They get off the plane in Prague or wherever they were in Europe, and there is a line of ants. Now, you can imagine what the transatlantic flight was like on this charter. But they got there, and there was this thing, and Ozzy supposedly got down and sniffed the ants up like a rail of coke.
It's funny, have you ever seen the movie The Dirt, based on Motley Crue? It's a Netflix movie.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of it.
It doesn't have that specific scene in there, but it does have one where they're out at a pool while they're on tour, and he sniffs the ants.
Okay. Well, a little creative licensing there.
Yeah. So, there you
I
go.
mean, wouldn't you agree a pool is a better scene than a European tarmac?
Yeah, I would say so. He said he wanted a bump, and they said, we don't have any blow left, so that's what he did.
We also have some ants. I'd care if Dave Grohl did that. All right, what do we got?
Alrighty. One of these, we haven't had a chance to talk about it because it just happened last night. Another one was last week, so we could have put it on last week's show, but we didn't. So we're going to start with last night. Arizona State dropped a women's soccer contest last night. ECU beat Temple, meaning East Carolina is the only Division I school in the country that is yet to lose a women's soccer game, a volleyball game, or a football game.
I care about that. Yeah, sure. Why not? It's a little bit of a reach with the achievement, but I guess it's saying that East Carolina is the only D1 institution that is undefeated in its fall sports. Yep. It's kind of UNC-like. Remember when UNC would always, their basketball team would underachieve despite all the talent? And they would come around and Tar Heel fans would then start talking about two things. Players that they had in the NBA, which at the time they had more players than Duke. And I'm going back. This, again, is old school 80s, 90s, Bill. And then the other thing is they would always act like they cared about sports of the spring like lacrosse and women's soccer and that kind of thing.
They love Mia Hamm.
That was Tar Heel fandom right there in the years where Krzyzewski and Duke were starting to overtake UNC and Dino.
Yeah.
So yes, I care. That's a great story. I like all the people involved in that. So yes,
shout
I think
out
that's
to Gary, Mike, and Adler.
Shout out. There you go. Shout them out. All right, what do we got, Pill?
Last Thursday, in Portugal's game over Croatia, Cristiano Ronaldo became the first player.
You've already lost me. You've lost me already. I don't care.
Well, he doesn't care about soccer. He was the first player to get to 900 goals, is Ronaldo. More than Pele.
I mean, that's... Oh, well, there you go. I mean, that's an accomplishment. How do they track that, though? I mean, when you say Pele, that's international. I mean, does that count everything like an MLS and
so it's everything
international
in their
competition
for playing for their country and any professional league?
So wouldn't this be like taking the points and the shots from Steph Curry's Olympic run and applying that to his NBA numbers?
It would be.
This is kind of like. Yeah.
That's exactly what it'd be like. However, soccer's always paid attention there because they play so many international games throughout the year. They'll have a weekend break where they go and play 2 international games just randomly in the middle of the season. It's not like the NBA where it's like, well, this guy kind of played in the Olympics. I mean, this counts World Cups.
Nobody plays in the NBA.
Yeah. But it doesn't count. It doesn't count friendly matches. It counts competitive tournament style only.
I got a lot of criticism for trying to enter into the dialogue with Gary the other week. Terms.
Yeah.
From soccer, I got a lot of heat from that from people, from two camps. One, the people who follow soccer and say you don't know what you're talking about, phony, even though I was using all the terms correctly. And two was people who hate soccer saying it's a field, not a pitch. It's zero, not nil.
When you're talking about a sport, you gotta go to their terms.
That's what I was saying.
Just like
I'm just trying to keep it real.
Yeah, I wouldn't want them to call it an American football pitch. It's a field.
That would be awful.
Yeah,
it's a field. An American football. Boy, that would anger people.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for
weird terms.
That'll do it for this week's Does the P-Man Care? Stories we missed that we follow. And Pilk keeps up with them all week, or at least in the last 5 minutes. Philip the Ref Pilk again with a 94-3 the game. Sports Flash update and Pirate Report ahead of ECU and App. Take it away, Pilk.
Taking the rage out of your drive home.
You just cut me off! But it's no big deal.
Patrick Johnson on 94.3 The Game and the new IBX Media app.
Reno South Central and the AD and football coach is Chris Cherry. He's won championships in basketball, and he's building the program for the South Central Falcons in football. And Coach joins us here as South Central gets set to hit the road to take on Currituck, looking to build on their start to the year. Coach, great to talk to you as it always is. I enjoy our conversations. Thank you for the time.
Thanks for having me, Patrick.
Awesome start for you all. You started off by taking care of Kinston on the road and then an impressive home debut against Franklinton. Last week, a slugfest with North Pitt. So that's one of those cross-county rival deals, and the Falcons come out with the victory. Assess the 3-0 start for us as you all head to Currituck this week.
We're pleased with the start. We have a long ways to go building the program, but we're doing it step by step. Not skipping any steps along the way in the process, and we're just building and looking forward to a very physical game on Friday night.
Coach, what is it that your team is doing differently this year, or this collection of players perhaps are doing a little differently this year than maybe last year and teams have done in the past? What are the areas you're really excelling in?
Right now, we're playing extremely well defensively and in the special teams. We have a ways to go offensively, but we're going to get there. We have a solid offensive line and 3 good running backs, and so we're looking to improve there. But the biggest thing is, our off-season work. The kids have done a great job into buying into the off-season conditioning program, and it's showing on the field.
Pretty good stuff there. Your backs, a couple of them are juniors that are playing for you this year. Clavon is one of them, and you've got the young kid Drew Thomas as well. Tell us a little bit about the running backs and run through them for us, if you would.
We have 3 good running backs. We also have a singing and Judah Poe, and all 3 of them are playing exceptionally well. They're basically one cut downhill runners, which we like in our system, and they all contribute, and they're doing a great job for us.
How about your quarterback? You got a couple of seniors that have run it for you there.
Yes, Cameron Whitley and Trail Nobles. They've done a good job. We got to get a little bit more consistency in the passing game, but they're really good leaders, and leading the offense and getting the kids where they're supposed to be. But like I said, we're still a work in progress, and we're going to get there. It's just going to take us some time.
You mentioned defensively. Give me some names of some guys who are playing well for you there. I would think Nasir Stanford is one of the top names that kind of leaps to mind immediately.
Oh, yeah, he's playing extremely well. Brother Amir is playing well on the defensive line also, along with DeAndre Bynum. Man, our 2 ends have played really well. Jalen Tate and the Blow kid, they're playing Justin Blow. They're playing really well. We've gotten good pressure on the quarterback thus far this year. And, the secondary's held up really well. We got Michael Williams back there. He's playing really well, and so I'm pleased where we are defensively. Got to tackle a little better, but like I said, we're getting better.
And got 4 interceptions out of that secondary so far, so that's a pretty good bit of getting the ball and getting turnovers and generating turnovers. Coach, let me ask you a little bit. You talked about the conditioning, and that's really kind of anything that goes in a football program. It really comes down to that weight room and putting that time in. Is that the type of thing that when you talk about kind of reversing a culture at a place, was that the top of your list to try to get things turned around there? As we've got to get more competitive in the weight room and more consistent in the weight room and with our conditioning?
Yes, we had to get the buy-in. When you're taking over, you got to get the kids to buy into your vision, and they did a great job with that from, day one. After they got over the shock of me actually going to try to do it, they really bought into it. We have excellent numbers. We're up to 97, 98 in the program right now, and so we're really excited. And like I said, more than anything, it's just the buy-in, man. This league that we play in is so physical. I joke around all the time, and people ask me about it, and I call it the SEC West. So you can have every X and O in the book, man. But if if you can't compete from tackle to tackle, you don't stand a chance in this league.
Well, I mean, you make a great point. Let's talk about the East Carolina League. You've got yourself, but then you've got Rose, and Rose is off to a tough start, but they still are Rose, and they've played some tough games, and we saw what they did last year after a tough beginning. Conley, there's always the rivalry factor, and we know they're capable of scoring points. They've seemingly gotten a little tougher on the defensive end or the defensive side too. And then you have Havelock. You got New Bern. Jacksonville is a team that's top 10 in 3A. So it's a tough league. You'll start things next week with Northside, Jacksonville, or in a couple weeks with Northside, Jacksonville. But you look at that league. There are no off nights.
No, it's probably probably one of the best leagues in the world. It is one of the best leagues in the state. You can easily finish third or fourth in this league and find yourself in the third or fourth round of the playoffs. That's just how good this league is. Excellent coaches, excellent tradition, and we want to get to that part where people talk about us, contending on a yearly basis.
We're talking to South Central AD and head coach Chris Cherry, and they'll play Currituck County. Start conference play on the 20th at Northside. In fact, it's a run that starts this week with 3 straight road games and 4 of the next 5 on the road. And once you get into conference play, no gimmies there, as we were just talking about with Coach. Chris, let me ask you a little bit about, this move to football. I know, it happened, and we've talked to you about it, but, a couple years into it, how it's a return to sort of, you were a college football player, so it's a return to roots for you in a lot of ways. How have you enjoyed it?
It's really rejuvenated me. It's coaching is coaching, but it's different just from a standpoint. You're not dealing with 13 to 15 kids. You're dealing with, right now we're at 97, 98. So, you deal with bigger staffs, more kids, but it's been great, man. The kids, like I said, the kids have made me, really be happy with the decision because they bought in, 110%, and I've just enjoyed them, man. And like I said, we still have a long ways to go, but we're gonna, keep building and try, and we're gonna make ourselves competitive year in and year out eventually.
All right, you've talked about getting better on offense. What are some other areas that you feel like your team's going to need to excel in starting tonight, but obviously when you get into conference play?
Mainly, we want to get a little bit better defending the run, tackling a little better. We haven't been as good at that as I would like right now. But the biggest thing is, Patrick, you want to get better every day. And I talk to the kids all the time. We had a conversation yesterday about we want to win every day. You want to win every day in life. You wake up, you go to class, you want to win in the classroom. You want to be respectful to your teachers. You want to get on the field, and you want to win at practice every day. That's how you build habits. You got to be a winner. Win every day, not only on the field, but in the game of life. You want to be a winner. And so that's mainly what we talk about, just winning each day, trying to get better, keep the outside noise on the outside. There's no elevator to success. You got to take the steps, and you got to take every step. And so that's what we constantly preach to our kids. Let's get better every day, the buy-in. And they're amazing bunch of kids, man, from our freshman class to our senior class. And I'm just proud of the buy-in, and we're getting better each and every day, and we will continue to get better each and every day.
It's an awesome statement that there's no elevator. You got to take the steps to get to success. Great quote, Coach Terry. Let me ask you a little bit about from your AD's perspective. There'll be a realignment next year, 8 classifications, and where do you see South Central? I would guess 7A is what it's looking like, maybe 6A, but probably 7A. Anyway, where do you think South Central will land in that expanded classification? I don't think in the Big 32, but 6 or 7A possibly.
We're thinking 7A right now with our numbers. Our enrollment is steady, increasing, but we're thinking we're going to be 7A right now. And realignment, man, is really, in the past, by the time you've gotten to this year in the realignment, you would already have your schedules, your conferences and your football schedules aligned for the next 2 years. But, with the delay in trying to come up with the correct format, everybody's kind of in flux right now and a little anxious, a little nervous about, where they're going to be.
Correct me if I'm, just educate me here. Is it going to end up being more regional play than conference play per se, or is all that still being kind of figured out?
All that's kind of being figured out still from my understanding. Really, honestly, with where we're going right now, I can see a lot more regional play, but like I said, that's to the powers of being the realignment committee. I served on that committee before, and they have an incredible job ahead of them.
And I guess you'd have more of a sectional record. That's probably what I mean to say, than a regional record per se. It'd be more of a kind of sectional. We'll figure it out, like you say. That committee, you talk about thankless work. The whole thing,
man. and I did it when it was just 4 classifications. I can't imagine what they're going through.
Pretty amazing stuff. Well, Coach, congratulations on this really good start for South Central 3-0. If you had to put into words some keys for the game against Currituck County, what would your 2 or 3 keys be?
Winning up front. Winning up front. We got to win the line of scrimmage, man. We got to win the line of scrimmage. They got some big bodies up there. They're going to lay on us and pound on us, and we got to stand up and drop them a little bit, be ready to play.
Hey, Coach, good luck this week, and good luck the rest of the way. Safe travels to you all, and we'll talk to you soon.
Patrick, my man, as good as always, man.
That's Chris Cherry of South Central, and we will be back to wrap it up on the Get You to the Weekend edition of the PJ Show right after these words.
And now, the stunning conclusion of the show. It's the P-Man here on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. It's nice of you to be with us here today on this Friday Get You to the Weekend edition. ECU and App State tomorrow at 4 o'clock. We will be on the air with our Anson Belt and Buckle Pirate Game Day Countdown for Orthopedics East at 1 p.m. Myself, along with Philip the Ref Pilkington and Joe Sampson, Joey Football. Stephen Igo will be by. And much, much more. We'll have Rini Angolia from ESPN also coming by the big program tomorrow. So all of that is going on. Looking forward to all of the participants and getting you ready for East Carolina and App. Thanks to Scott Shook for being on with us today and Chris Cherry. We will be Monday at Tiebreakers live for the Patrick Johnson Show with Jim Zoki and our Houston Huddle on Monday. And the Inside Pirate Athletics will follow at 6 o'clock. So we'll be back Monday with that. Also next week, T-Bone from WFNZ out in Charlotte. And we're also going to have Christy Overton Johnson on with us along with our normal rotation of guests. So it'll be a lot of fun. Look forward to it. Have a great and safe weekend. Go Pirates. Beat App.